All right, guys. So we are on episode 2, right? Yes, episode 2.
Episode 2, yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking we can name these first 2 episodes "The Journey of Becoming," because it's like our journey of like from the beginning to like where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
So I am super excited because I get to interview you now. Yeah. So we have Haven the Groomer.
Mm-hmm.
You guys already know who Haven the Groomer is, but Haven the Groomer is everyone. But he is a husband, a father, not just a business owner, but a husband, a father, a business owner, an innovator, influencer, trendsetter, like the list goes on. But most importantly, well, not most importantly, but he's my big brother. He's my mentor. He's my best friend. And so I'm super excited to get to interview you today, bro.
Yeah.
With like, just like life, I gotta stop saying so much. But with like life, like life happening. And so I always like to give you your flowers. I've always been that way,
Yeah,
you know.
You have.
Yeah, just like giving you your flowers. But with like the way that I view life now, like the people that I love, I really hold them near and dear to my heart. So
Yeah, for sure.
Just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
But I
appreciate the introduction. I appreciate the introduction.
Yeah, so from the beginning, I want to take it from the beginning.
Okay.
A lot of people know a little glimpse of your story.
Yeah.
And I know your story too, but I always get super motivated, like inspired when I go all the way back from the beginning and just hear it all over again. And so some people don't know like the whole story.
Yeah,
they just know glimpse.
Yeah.
So I want to take it all the way back from the beginning.
Okay.
Like, when was the first time you picked up the clippers?
Okay, so first time I ever picked up a pair of clippers, I gotta say it was trimmers first.
Trimmers, okay.
My dad had like a dual razor where you could shave and you could like line yourself up. I was probably about 9 years old, and I remember I used to take his trimmer and I used to line myself up, right? Attempt to line myself up. And then when my dad used to cut my hair, my dad was cut my hair first, and he's always tell I've been playing my head. He always be like, "Man, you been playing your head," you know what I'm saying?
He can tell.
He can tell, And so that was like the first time I remember I picked a pair of clippers up, and I think I might have started like enjoying the art of it back then because I used to always try to practice myself in the mirror, and I'd be looking, and I'm like, yeah, I got myself pretty good, but I probably really messed it up.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I picked up a pair of clippers. Then I started taking it serious, obviously my sophomore year of high school, when my brother, he had got back from college and he was getting me fresh. He was cutting my hair. He was getting me fresh like twice a week, Jewel. I'm talking, I'm going to school so confident, And then slowly but surely, it went from twice a week to once a month. So I never forget, he told me, man, listen, hey, learn how to cut your own hair now. Now I got a college teammate that was making all kind of money, Learn how to cut hair now. By the time you're 19, man, you be making money, man,
Yeah.
I like, all right, man, where your clippers at? And I literally took his clippers and I gave myself an even all around. And I asked him, how'd I do? He's like, man, you did good. You know what I mean? And that's when it became like I gotta say, it became more of I wanted to get better and better. So I like, man, I like this. I'm gonna start cutting my own hair. So I started cutting my own hair. And then I started cutting a couple of my friends' hair.
Okay.
And then by the time my senior year, that's when I realized like I was pretty good. Yeah, so that's when I picked it up.
Yeah. And so a lot of people think you're from Peoria, right?
No.
You can explain that to me, bro, because I always get that.
Yeah. So I'm from Aurora.
Aurora. Okay.
Yeah. I'm from Aurora, which is it's a suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
About 30 minutes west of Chicago. But a lot of people don't know that Aurora is the second biggest city in Illinois. I just had to clarify that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know that.
For sure. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after you went to school, like you found your passion, like your brother planted the seed.
Yeah.
And then you start cutting. And then like, when did you like first go in? You went to college though.
Yeah. College first. Yeah.
Did you went to college like a university?
Yeah.
And then you left the university and then you started going to barbering school.
Yeah.
So like what year did you go into your first shop?
So I started school in college in '08. I mean, I'm sorry, '04. Then I started barber school in 2008. And so first I started actually cosmetology school at first. Right. I did that for a few months.
That's right.
Yeah, then after it wasn't for me, I decided to transfer to go to a barber school, which is on the west side of Chicago. And once I started barber school, they gave me like a card that said I could, be a part-time barber at a barbershop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so I was driving home one day and I seen this small little barbershop in the neighborhood, and I decided to stop by, and that's when I first got my first experience in the barbershop.
Yeah. Okay. Where am I gonna? No, I'm just nervous, guys. We're gonna edit this, right? Okay.
Take your time.
So when you got your card and then you started being able to work in a barbershop, what was the name of the first barbershop? I don't think I ever asked you that.
It's called Universal Image.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it there?
It was it was cool. Actually, it was cool. It was very small, and there was a guy in there. It was only one person working in there. It was like a 4-man barbershop, but it really only fit about 3.
Yeah.
And it was one guy in there, and literally it was just. You said like, how was it working there? Yeah. It was awesome. I mean, it was great because I remember it was crazy. I was big on marketing back then. Like I had 10 friends right when I got back from school where I was cutting. And I told them, come to the barbershop on Saturday morning, all you guys at the same time.
Yeah.
And that was like my marketing strategy. I remember we had the doors open, the mirror, those big windows, and I remember walking and start coming in. Like, man, who you guys waiting on? I'd be like, Haven. Hey, man, can I get in? Because they just assumed I was good since all these people was waiting on me.
Yeah.
And so that was like the jump start of my career there. And I really enjoyed it. It was kind of hood a little bit, when I look back at it. But I'm glad I went through it because I was able to understand what type of image and look I want for my barbershop.
Right.
So it was an awesome experience overall.
Yeah. What were you charging back then?
Back then, I remember I was charging $12 at home, but once I got in the barbershop, once I got in the barbershop, I was like, hey man, I had to raise my prices because I got paid booth rent. It's $15, but that includes razor line finish. So it started at $15, then it ultimately went to $20. Once I got real busy and started getting booked up like crazy. Yeah, and that was back in 08, 09.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what year did you move to St. Louis?
So I moved to St. Louis in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that like a big old like coming from you establishing yourself in a barbershop and having to walk away from like that life and everything that you have built and then starting like coming here? Did you have like were you like homesick or?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, because thing was, so I had a fiance from 09 to 2011 until we got married, and she wanted to move to Chicago. She wanted to go to law school. Yeah, she wanted to go to law school in Chicago, and I definitely was trying to move to St. Louis.
Yeah,
I had a growing business. I was making money. Ultimately, I was planning to open my own barbershop, but it was about, I never forget, it was like yesterday. It was like 4 months for our wedding. We found out we were expecting a child. Changed everything. And that's when I realized, my mother-in-law was like, hey, if you come here, you'll have free daycare. And at that time, I knew that, my parents was working. I was like, you know what, let me leave my nest and just come out here to St. Louis with my wife, right? And so, yeah, when I moved out here, I was homesick, man. Homesick. I was depressed.
Yeah.
Went from making, $1,200 a week to $50 a week. You know what I'm saying? And it was tough, man, because I remember having, people was looking at me. My father-in-law looking at me all crazy, like, man, this man gonna get a job or what,
Yeah.
So the transition was kind of tough because I felt like St. Louis was kind of slower on things back then.
For sure.
I remember I tried to get somebody razor lining. Hey, man, it's gonna bump me up. It was like, what is this,
Yeah.
And the shop I went to, they was only charging $12 for haircuts, so I had to take a price cut, and the money wasn't there. So yeah, it was tough. It was definitely tough at first. Went through a lot that first year, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you moved here, how soon did you get into another shop? Like,
yeah, so I moved here I got married in May. I moved here in July. Literally when I came here, I got that's when I met Miss Rachel, and I got in her shop when I moved here.
Was it because she lived in the area, or like somebody connected you guys? Like?
Yeah. I remember my brother-in-law. He had took me to a couple different shops.
Okay.
And it was looking kind of dark and gloomy out here in St. Louis. I remember I never I was telling my wife like, hey, I might have to go back to Chicago for a couple weekend and cut everybody up. But by the grace, man, my father-in-law told me he connected me to Rachel. Her shop was called Silver Shears Barbershop. He's like, hey, it's a barbershop around the corner. You should go check it out. And I never forgot when I went there, I met her. She had just an awesome personality.
Yeah.
There was another barber there from Chicago, little old head guy.
Okay.
And he was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I could grow here possibly. You know what I mean? I like the vibe. It's old school. And, I feel like with no hating or anything.
Yeah.
So that's how I got connected, because my father-in-law connected me to her.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. So what would you say now that you moved here, like the pressure's on, you moved into your new shop home.
Yep.
What was your building strategy?
The building strategy was to do things that I've never done before. And I got to shout out to my mentor. His name Adrian Fainus. I reached out to him, and I told him, like, man, I've never been in this position before.
Yeah.
What should I do? I ain't making no money. I got people looking at me like, man, go get a job. And he was like, yo, I never get, in a very subtle voice, he was like, hey, listen, I've been there before. This is what you do. Get some business cards made, get a little barcode in the back saying, first one is on me. He told me, like, you have talent, so it's all about people just getting in your chair. Don't worry about, the free haircuts. They're more likely they're going to tip, but just don't get the regular average Joe. Look for families, look for people who got jobs. I'm like, all right, cool. And I never forget, I went on Vista Print, and I printed about 75 business cards. I tell a story all the time. I created 75 business cards, and I handed them all out at a gas station, the grocery store. Things I would have never done back at home.
Yeah.
And out of the 75 people that I handed out business cards to, I never forget, it was 32 people that came sat in my chair.
Wow. That's still a good number.
Great number.
Yeah.
And out of the 32 people, 27 people tipped.
Wow.
And out of the 27 people that tipped, 22 people became regular clients.
Wow.
So I went from $50 a week to all of a sudden making $400 a week.
Yeah, that's major.
Major. So now I got, I give the wife some grocery money, some diaper money, So that was a big shift for me because, okay, you know what, I can make this work. So that was my initial marketing strategy at first.
Was this before Instagram? Like social media was like becoming like a business tool?
So Instagram had just came out, but I was like, I remember at that time I was living I was kind of like living, I ain't gonna say a lie, kind of, because I really didn't want people to know I was in St. Louis. I was telling people I was in Atlanta. So I had my Instagram page private. I ain't want nobody to know. Right, so this is before Instagram. Instagram was there, but this is before I even had any type of presence. But I never forget though. Good question. Good story about that. So I'm growing my business locally, and I'm posting on my page, but privately. But I had a girl on my page that she lived in California, and I was posting, and she was like, "Hey, listen, you need to unprivate your page and let the world see your gift." You know what I mean? And when she said that, like, no, you right.
Right.
What am I doing? Let me just, why not? I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So that's when I unprivate my page and literally start using Instagram to build my clientele, which was crazy. So that's how that kind of got initiated. Yeah.
So where did Groom Theory come from? Was it like something when you started in Ms. Rachel's shop, was it always Groom Theory, or it was like, as you start building your clientele, then it was like, okay, this is my brand, like this is Groom Theory.
So Groom Theory actually happened to me in college, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's when it first happened to me. Groom Theory initially was when your groomer takes the necessary steps to transform you in a way that has you feeling like you're invincible. That was like where it came from originally, because it happened to me. I remember I had this guy cut my hair when I was in college, and he took about an hour, and I remember he kept on asking me, like, I'll cut you up, I'll get you right. And when he cut me up, man, he just changed my whole perspective about life. And I thought, like, I knew I was handsome, but then I just thought, like, oh my gosh, like, no one can say no to me right now, you know what I mean? And so once that happened, I felt invincible, and so that's when Groom Theory originally happened. Yeah. And so it was always an idea of mine, but when I went to Rachel's shop, I was Silver Shears, the brand. That's all I was. I didn't understand branding until I went to hair shows, a hair show. And when I realized all these great barbers have these brands that separate them from everyone else.
Yeah.
And so that Groom Theory came about 2.5 years later. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So now that you have like Groom Theory, you building this brand, when did it and you got your clientele going, when did it click to you like, okay, it's time for me to step out and like own my own like shop and push Groom Theory like
all the way?
All the way, yeah.
Okay. So let me rewind it then for you. Let me paint the picture. So what happened was I started competing in competitions, right?
Okay.
2012, I did my first competition. I met my man Jay Ruff, and he the one that kind of introduced me to the just the whole industry when it came to battling and also meeting other people in the industry. And so once I created the brand Groom Theory back in 2013, I felt like I could have opened my shop then because I had won a competition and I feel like, okay, now I belong. I know I belong. But actually I got third place in the competition. That's when I realized I belonged. And then I came back like 6 months later and I lost. Didn't even place. And so what happened was like, you know what? Let me grind for another 6 months. Yeah. Let me win this thing. And once I finish this, then I'm gonna go to the next chapter. Right. And so 2014 I won the competition. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm ready. Yeah. But that was in February. I took another 10 months to even thinking about opening a barbershop because I wanted to leeway and learn about the educational side of it because at that time I started getting flown out, learning about other brands, educating. So in 2014, that's why okay, I'm ready to open my barbershop. But it really it went off faith. I didn't even have a location. I never forget, I talked to, we was at the barbershop and I came to Miss Rachel. Hey, can I talk to you for a second? She's like, yeah. We went outside, like, listen, I just want to let you know I plan on my barbershop soon. I don't know when. I don't have a location. I just want to let you know ahead of time that I'm looking for a location, but I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm just letting you know I'm looking, She's like, okay, cool, and so by the grace, that's when it happened. I just went out of faith. I found a spot, and it was like yesterday, my wife was like, do you think people going to come work for you? I have no idea, but I know I'm my own barbershop. I know I got a vision. So that's what happened 2015, January.
Were you nervous?
Was I nervous? Honestly, I was more excited. Yeah. I was excited because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew what I was doing, it was going to happen because of I was doing it instead of just waiting for the perfect opportunity. I only had like $7,000 signed. I had $7,000 saved up. By the grace, it was a previous salon owner where the plumbing was already there. So I only had to do like cosmetic work, just get some big mirrors, paint, So it was very I had a nice little budget. I was able to budget, but I was more excited for the people that was coming to work with me because I just felt like, man, what I plan to do with my brand is going to change their lives. Yeah. So, I really wasn't nervous. I was just excited, what I mean? So,
it's so crazy, how things just work out, looking over all the guys that you picked for the shop. We had the perfect team, and that doesn't really happen. That really does not happen. But we had the perfect family, and on top of that, it's how God led you to pick the perfect people for your shop, because it's even in as far as skill wise too. If a person come in, they could literally sit in anybody's chair. Really doesn't happen either. Nah, it doesn't. So when you went and you was looking for the people for the shop, what were you looking for?
Honestly, I really wasn't looking for a specific person. I was looking for people to find me. I wanted people to find me. I feel like God would place the people who needs to be with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I want somebody tall and dark hair and not a douche, it really wasn't that. I just never forget, I remember when I first signed the lease, I told my wife, hey, take a picture of me signing, this lease, so I can post it on social media. And I remember I wrote hey, listen, I'm about to open my first shop. I'm excited. I'm looking for, I plan on changing the game in St. Louis. And I remember the post got so much love, Jewel. And at the end of like 2 or 3 days, I remember it was like 20 people that filled out applications to try to work at the shop. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, wow, this is crazy, you know? And so I felt like I wasn't out there just trying to like pick the perfect person. I just wanted God to place the perfect people to work with me. Right. And so I just wanted some good people, man. That's really it. Yeah. I don't care about the skill set. I know we could work with that, you know? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, for sure.
So, speaking of when you competed, like you said, the first time you placed third, and then the second time you didn't place at all.
Yeah, yeah.
What made you go back? Because, you know,
what made me go back?
You're the first. You made history with Bronner Brothers. You're the first person to get the perfect score.
Yeah, yeah.
So what made you go back? Because had you not went back, we wouldn't be. Yeah, you know,
for sure.
So what made you like? No, I need to go back. Like.
Okay, so I
know this like going backwards.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, I love the story, man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you know. So I gotta give my big brother, man, my mentor, Jay Ruff, man, for all of it, because if it wasn't for him, I would have never been exposed to any of it. You know, and during a time where I didn't know what was going on, I was just going through the motions. I know I wanted more, and literally God placed him in a perfect place for us to be the friends that we are now. And I never forget, he had just literally won the competition at Bronner Bros in August, right? And I was about to compete at the wall competition. And so Jay Ruff, he wasn't even competing in my category for that, but he was looking at the names of the traditional competition, and he seen my name, Haven. He thought that was a cool name, so he looked me up on Facebook, right? And once he looked me up, he seen some of my photos. So he just thought, like, man, this dude got some nice work. Yeah. He ended up messaging me, giving me a compliment about my work. He found you. He found me, right?
That's crazy.
And so I'm like, so he's like, man, have you ever competed before? I'm like, nah, never, man. But, you know, I'm about to compete this weekend. You got any advice? I see all the trophies. He got like 30-something trophies. Like, man, just bam, make sure it's clean. Then I'll never forget, I was about to hop on the train to Chicago. And I'm like, hey, man, can I get your number so I get some tips from you? He gave me his number. Then I remember it was like about a 4-hour train ride to Chicago, and I talked to him the whole 4 hours. Wow! And if it wasn't for him, I would have never placed at that competition, because he told me some vital information, like make sure your model is dressed nice. I was gonna have my model in a t-shirt and some jeans, you know. Yeah. So me, you know, getting third place in this star-studded competition gave me like, man, I could do this, you know. So he gave me that confidence. And so once he told me that, man, Haven, I think you could do very well at Bronner Bros. Yeah. Like, you think so? And, you know, this is the hair competition of all competitions. And so the first time I competed, I got third. And that's when I was like, man, maybe I do belong, you know? So 6 months later, I'm coming back for that first place. And then when I didn't win, I actually didn't even place. And I remember I was like so cocky too. I was like, yeah, I'm about to win this. Yeah. I was like, man, dang, that's crazy. I was heartbroken. I was hurt. I never forget, he told me, man, listen, we're going to take that walk. You win and lose the same way, right? And like, man, I appreciate it, man. And when that happened, I remember, like, I told him, like, listen, I'm done with this competition stuff, bro. This ain't it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then he, like, he gave me some time to, you know, to think about everything. And he called me back. What's up, man? You ready for this competition, man? You ready to compete in February? I like, you know what? You're right, bro. I told myself, I'm going to start something, I'm going to finish it, you know? And by the grace, I had a great brother, man, named Tony, who's my model. He grew his hair out for 6 months.
That's love.
Love, you know what I'm saying?
That's a happy year.
The key thing, what I'm saying is that when I came back and when I won that competition with a perfect score, which was first time in history. Right. It just, everything aligned. Like, I told myself, like, I'm going to win this. I remember every time I cut someone hair for that 6 months span at Rachel's shop, I was literally practicing, manifesting me competing. Right. What I gotta do differently, what I gotta do to make sure this fade is looking perfect, and you know. And so, like I said, I'm a firm believer, man. If I start something, I'm gonna finish it. Yeah. And it was meant to happen. Yeah. So that was the reason why I went back, because first, because I didn't, you know, I start something, you know, I want to finish it. Secondly, I didn't want to let my boy Jay Ruff down either, because I feel like he believed in me the most out of anybody. So yeah.
That's crazy, like how if you would have never went back, you would have never made history.
Yeah.
I think that's the crazy part about it.
Facts.
Because you got the perfect score.
Perfect score.
That's crazy.
And a lot of people quit when they don't place like that.
Exactly.
You know, and so yeah, it was just meant to happen. Like even line up. That's another story for itself. Just everything that lined up for me to get that perfect score was just crazy. But I'm forever grateful though.
Yeah. That's crazy. So now that you have your shop, and how the shop was open from, we opened in 15.
January 2015.
And then you decided to open up a second one in 18.
Yep.
What made you feel like you wanted to expand? Because, you know, they say statistic-wise, like when you open up that second location, it's kind of hard. A lot of businesses, they kind of don't make it, especially when they open up the second one. But here we are, you know.
Still here. Right, still here.
So, like, after you got your first shop, and I mean, I knew when you brought me on, you told me you wanted to expand, but when did you know, like, okay, I have this shop, now it's time for me to expand? Were you nervous about even opening up a second one? And what made you want to expand?
You know, my philosophy, man, I'm here to evolve, not stay the same. And at that point, I felt like, you know, the team was growing, we was established, people was eating on the team, and now I feel like, okay, I was getting, you know, approached all the time by, you know, other stylists, other barbers who want to work in the shop. And so I just wanted to expand. And at that time, I really wanted my shop I was looking at more, you know, franchising the brand. And I just knew I wanted a second location. I just didn't know where or when. But 2017, that's when I started looking, because I was like, you know what, I think it's time to start growing. And that's how St. Charles kind of came across, because a lot of my clients was telling me, hey man, you should, you know, look out there in St. Charles County, man. St. Charles is and it's crazy. If I look at it, if I could start all over, I don't know if I would have picked St. Charles.
Really?
Yeah, because you know, I didn't really look at the numbers, like the you know, like thoroughly. I just went off the humbug, like everybody telling me that I should move to St. Charles. I mean, not move to St. Charles, like get a shop out there. Not really knowing the whole, you know, the clientele out here in St. Charles, you know.
Really?
Yeah,
That's surprising.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, just think about, cause like now that I know more about business and like just what I attract, what type of clientele I want to attract, it might have been a little differently, but everything has for a reason though. Yeah. Because literally now, having a shop in St. Charles, I live in Winsville, it's so much easier for me because it's 20 minutes away instead of, you know, North County 45 minutes away. Yeah. So it worked out. Yeah.
I think St. Charles needed us.
Yeah, I believe so too. Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember vividly though, like I remember like our first week there, and somebody came in the shop and was like, "What are you guys doing here?" Yeah. And I was like, "Excuse me, sir." Right. And he was like, "We have enough barbershops out here. What are you guys doing here?" And I told that man, I'm like, you know how many burger places is over here? Right. And I was like, no, sir. Like, and I was so determined. Like, we here to stay.
We ain't going nowhere.
It's been like, what, 5+ years now?
5+ years. It'd be 6 years in March. 6 years in March. Yeah.
That's a blessing, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big blessing.
Yeah. But I remember you said, was I nervous? I really wasn't nervous. I was more determined, so to speak. You know, people, like you said, people think, okay, open a second location is going to fail. Yeah. And so my mindset was like, man, this is not about to fail because of money. Right. You know what I mean? And so I just never forget that year. I remember, I know you remember, Jewel, like I was there from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m, literally haircutting, hair units. Yeah. And I just wanted to make sure that I was be able to fund everything. And I was going to work hard. And that was that. But I remember that year, that was probably one of the hardest years because I missed a lot of things, especially with the family. And I remember that year I was pouring a lot into, you know, you guys. Like, you know, obviously we had hairstylists on our team that really know how to cut hair yet. So just we trying to do workshops. It was a lot. But would I change it? No, because everything happened because it was supposed to happen. Yeah. So I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. Yeah.
Speaking of hair units, I feel like I remember like when the wave came. Yeah. And you was like one of the first people to do hair units. And it's so crazy because like the influence that you have on the barbering industry.
Yeah.
I've watched you literally master the skill like 5 different ways.
Right,
Like you can put a hair unit on like so many different ways.
Right.
And you know, like with social media, things come in a trend, but you still do hair units. And it's been like how many years?
Yeah, I started in 2016. So that's
and you
still doing them.
Still doing them.
7 years.
I think that's major, bro.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
the influence that you have, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Definitely a blessing.
So to see you like still doing hair units, can you talk a little bit about why you like how you got into doing hair units?
Yeah.
Because like I said, you still do them, and it's not a trend in groom theory.
No,
it's literally like a problem, like a problem solver.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
people need them. You know, it builds a whole different type of confidence for people. And you know, so social media make fun of those type of things.
Yeah.
But this is like a real, you know, with groom theory, we do everything a certain way. And so to us, like that's really like a solution, and it builds confidence for our clients. So can you talk a little bit more about the hair units?
Yeah, I started in 2016. I remember it was one of my barber brothers named Wade the Barber. I was following his page, and I seen a before and after picture. It was someone that had like a bald spot in the back of his head. Then all of a sudden, the next slide, it was hair there. So first I'm like, what is this? I remember I DM'd him. Hey man, what's up, man? Man, what is that, bro? Like, you know, like, man, all this hair units, man. You're like, hey, it was a Wednesday night. I was like, hey man, what I gotta do? Come learn that. I'll pay whatever, bro. You know what I mean? Let me know. He's like, oh man, I do them all the time, man. You just let me know when you want to come. I'm like, man, I come this weekend, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I got you, man. When you want to come? I'm like, I come Sunday. You know. So literally, that night, I told him why you about that. Listen, I'm about to go learn this little procedure real quick. Yeah. And he lived in D.C. And so I booked a flight, went out there, kicked it with him for a couple of days, and he showed me a technique. Back then, it was only like one technique. It was like a box, right? And so I'll never forget. It was a Friday. It was Wednesday. Now it's Friday. I had a client named we call him Cash, and I showed him a picture. Like, hey man, you mind if I do this on you? Would you care if you want to be one of my models? Yeah. And he started laughing. Right. I like, dang. So I'm thinking to myself, dang, maybe not. So I finished him up. Then at the end of the service, he was like, hey man, if you need a model, you know, I'll be a model. I like, for real? I like.
This was after he saw the first one. This was before you. This was before you did the service on him. Or?
Yeah, this is before. This is it Wednesday. I booked my flight to go to DC. Right. This is Friday. Okay. I'm still cutting hair. Right. I'm cutting Cash up. So he didn't know nothing about it. All I did was show me Wade pictures. Like, hey man, can I do this on you? Like, then he said, like, yeah, if you need a model, I'll be a model. I like, for real? So you mind if I post no picture, no video on it? He like, nah, not at all. Do it. You know. I like, man, you know it's gonna go crazy. You sure? Right. I don't care, man. I like. You know, granted, my man Cash, he was like he comes in the shop all not saying nothing, you know. Yeah. And I like, all right. So I went out there Sunday, learned it, came back Monday. Did Cash. It took about 7 hours to do his hair. We was in there. I like, man, this is it right here. Then I did a video, and I remember I posted it the next day. And when I tell you, that mug went crazy. Viral. Yeah. And that was a start of something. That was a start of something pretty amazing, because I never forget. People started coming in. I started doing them a lot. Right. And I know you remember this. Remember that guy came from London?
Oh man. Yeah. He actually was in a really bad car accident. Yeah. That was emotional.
That was very emotional.
That was emotional for everybody.
Yeah. Like, I remember me, you, and him. Like, we was there for some hours, and like just hearing his story. And that's when I like, you know, I gotta get serious about this. You know, I got people coming in. I'm going, you know, let me get really certified. And that's when I took a 3-day class to get certified as a national hair provider. And that's when I really started taking it serious. And once I really started taking it serious, that's when it exploded. Right. Yeah, so I'm just grateful for it, and I'm forever grateful for that, because it literally changed my whole tax bracket, you know, learning another skill. And like you said, we're problem solvers, you know. Yeah. You know, in this industry, if you can solve a problem, you can make a lot of money. Yeah. And not only make a lot of money, but impact people's lives. So yeah, that's I mean, that's literally what we do every day. Yeah, every day. Every single day. Yeah, like, for sure. We are essential. Absolutely. You know, when the world shut down, I'm like, how are we getting shut down? Like, we literally essential. Essential. Like, people need us. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's real though. Yeah, it's so crazy, because it's like, I don't even remember Cash before. I don't even remember like when it's hard to even think, because it's just like he's been the model, the face, you know, for so long. Yeah, he has. And
even still today, like it's still crazy just watching you just perform this service, which is something I want to definitely tap into now. With like my time.
Absolutely, it's still a crazy market. It's really, it's not a lot of people doing them like they used to be. Like everybody was trying it, then they realized like, man, this ain't for me. I ain't gonna do it. Yeah, because it takes a lot of patience. You're dealing with different type of clientele as well. So
it kind of separates like people who do it because it's trending and the people who taking it serious because it's solving a problem.
Absolutely.
You know, like it really. It's separated.
Yeah, it does.
And then now you have like S&P.
S&P.
S&P. It's so crazy just like how barbering just keeps evolving and coming up with more solutions, you know, to people's problems. That's the beauty.
That's the beauty of it. You know, it's constantly changing, you know. And so like it's cool. Like that's I always tell, you know, barbers, man, it's cool to be you can make a lot of money, period. But it's always good to keep on growing and learning new skill sets. And obviously when you learn new skill sets, you put in the time, you put in the money, that's when you'll be able to charge whatever you want because you decided to educate yourself. So I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer of education. Especially in our industry. For sure.
Yep, for sure. I mean, that's just being at Groom Theory, period. We big on educating and trying to stay up with every, you know.
Yeah, got to, man. That's why, you know, I love the fact that our shop is like diverse. You know what I mean? Where we got a lot of young talent. We got some, you know, we got the older talent, you know what I'm saying? So you can see, I always got to keep me some young bulls around me because you get to see the new trends, you know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed now that like I'm considered an OG in the industry now, that I could still, you know, cater and attract the younger generation of upcoming groomers, man, because like, they want to learn from me, but I'm learning from them too, because it's all about staying relevant in this industry. And so just learning everything. I'm never going to be like, you know how I was like the old head barbers be like, I only do all that. You know what I mean? Like, all right, don't do it then. You're going to see in a couple years, we're going to have to get left behind, you know? But I'm always tapped in with, you know, Lakin and Major, what's new, you know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of it, for real.
I feel like I'm floating in the middle. I'm like, I used to be that young. Now I'm kind of floating on to this time. I'm like, I'm trying to be so OG too. I'm like, no.
You definitely OG, but the thing is, you're still young though. Like, you know, and your skill set is like impeccable.
Thanks, bro.
And the things that you do, a lot of people don't do at all.
Thanks,
bro. So that's the thing about you. You just that separates you from everybody else is you dominate the competition before they even sit in the chair. You know what I'm talking about? Before they even get in the chair, like you already shampooed them, you already massaged them. It's like they're sold before they even like, you know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. I'm not going anywhere else. You know. then you code with it. So it's like that's the game changer for you, and it's just cool to see you evolved over the years, and from like just being like kind of scared to cut. Now you cut anybody, J down on anybody. You know what I'm saying? So.
But like I said, you handed down the blueprint. It's so crazy, like how. Like hearing you talk about your mentors, and it's just like, you're my mentor. Your mentors have mentors and have mentors.
Absolutely.
And it's just so crazy, just kind of like how, I think you talked about this in another episode with someone else, was just kind of like how it just trickled down. You know what I'm saying? And that's I find that beautiful alone too.
For sure.
Yeah. So shifting gears, I want to know about... I want to know, because I sit back and I watch you. We both real big on energy. So my question is, do you think you being a vegan, like this whole journey, kind of like helped you vibrate like a different frequency, like with like everything that's going on, like manifesting? Like, do you think like your vegan journey like has something to do with that?
Yeah, for sure. Because once I went vegan 2012 when my oldest turned 1, and that's when everything started happening for me. Honestly, I met J Ruff. Like once I went vegan, I feel like that told God that I'm literally, you know, locked in. You know, I'm devoted. I'm determined, and my mind is stronger than anything you throw at me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's when I told myself I want this. And I felt like God literally start placing people in my path to get me where I needed to be. And it's so much to it because like I've grown over the years as a vegan. I went from every different type of vegan, a fat vegan, skinny vegan.
I've literally watched
right,
you.
swole vegan, mad at the world vegan, like, you know what I'm saying? So I still get tested, but it originally, it kind of, honestly, it gave me that determination. Like, man, if I could conquer this, which is food is the biggest addiction, I could conquer anything. Yeah. And so, I'm forever grateful, man, for my vegan journey. And people always ask me, you don't miss meat? Nah, I don't miss meat at all. I love the smell though, you know what I'm saying? But that's about it.
No, I that's what I was like, when I sat back and was thinking about like some things that I want to take, so I'm like, I really do feel like, I'm not a vegan. I wish I was that disciplined and could become a vegan, but I do know when you give up things, you get disciplined like that. Everybody has different walks, but your calling might be different than what I need to give up.
Yeah, for
you know
sure,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So for you, yours was to give up meat. You know what I'm saying? So I know it all, intertwines, and it has something to do with like your journey too.
Absolutely. Yeah, for all the way. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Bro, I've literally watched you go from when I first came to the shop, you just had one baby girl. And now you have 3 baby girls. Yeah. So lately, I've literally been watching you juggle being at the shop, coaching like 3 different sports, and making time for your family on the weekend, and still like doing activities, and just like, how do you balance like, at home and business with everything that you have going on? I know that you did like take off on Saturdays now, and you made more time for your family. Yeah. But now at this point, from what we talked about in our previous conversations, like when you were saying you was in the shop doing hair units for so many hours, now you're able to like reap your harvest and take one of your days off. Yeah. And how do you balance all of that? Like, what's your strategy of like balancing all of that and having self-care? Because you're always getting a massage somewhere, IV bag, just the whole... I mean, you just juggle everything: family, business, self-care. I don't do a good job with juggling all of that.
Right. No, you will.
How do you do it?
So my big thing is, as a father now, right? Because I got a 12-year-old, 7-year-old, 6-year-old. At first, obviously, I was working a lot. Wasn't around like I wanted to be because I was grinding for that dollar, But the older I get, I realize, man, these memories... I need to create these memories that my daughter's going to always remember. And so, money's not everything for me anymore, but I'm glad that I established myself at a younger age where I could take Saturdays off, which is the busiest days of the week, you know what I'm saying? And, but, back to the self-care, I got to take care of myself first in order for me to be there for my kids. If I'm not taking care of myself, then how can I be at my 100% best for my kids? So, like, I'm big, obviously, with me waking up early, working out, if I got to go, shopping, or get a massage, get my feet done, whatever I got to do for things that I'm happy, I get that same energy back to my kids because, they look at us all the time. They see what type of vibe we at or what type of vibe is my dad going to have a great day today. They feel all that energy, know. So I'm, my kids being active, which is kind of a great thing for me because I hurt my back last year where I was playing basketball all the time. And when they told me they wanted to play basketball, I'm like, cool, let's do it. And they said they want to do it. And it's like an outlet for me, me being able to coach them and inspire them because I can't play basketball like I used to.
And they're so good.
Yeah, and they wanted to. That's the great thing. They want to be great, It's like, cool. It's pretty easy, And so I just make it the weekends, man. It's family time, And at the end of the day, I can't get this time back. They only this age once. So that's how I kind of balance it out where I make sure my weekends is spent with them.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Yeah, you're at the fun stage, too, where you can do sports with them and stuff. I can't wait.
Oh, you gonna love it. I know Trey gonna be
I'm sending baby girl right over to your house. She gonna be in basketball camp with the girls. Yeah. Okay, so in closing, well, not in closing, I got one more question. Because I literally watched you I'm admired by everything that you do, bro. I feel like God placed you in my life because I think that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Like all the people that's in my life now, like losing my mom, now I understand why I have certain people in my life.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're one of the people for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm always inspired, and everything you do, I'm gonna do.
Right,
you
right.
moved to Winsville, I moved to Winsville. I'm like right behind you, like the little sister that just won't get away. And so, I'm gonna try not to get too emotional about it, but it, when you told me about Pops, like that was just crushing.
Yeah, for sure.
He was like the sweetest man. Like, like at our grand opening in St. Charles, that was like my first time. We would hear him over the phone and stuff like that. But that was like the first time I actually got to see him in person. And you didn't even have to tell me that was your dad. Like, I just knew, like, that's him. Energy speaks before you even introduce yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And so when I seen him, you just saw like this light, and him and my mom shared like the same light, and it's so crazy.
Absolutely, yeah.
How they shared like the same light. That gets me every single time. And I have days where I literally cry about your dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I miss him. He used to always write me, especially after my mom. He used to be like, I adopted you. You're mine now.
Right.
You one of my kids. And he always, when I say he always checked on me, like he always checked on me and Ava. And so, that was really tough. And I just always think about just like him hyping you up and hyping me up.
Biggest supporter.
Just biggest supporter in everything. I remember when I announced that I was pregnant with my baby. Yeah. And I had posted my maternity pictures. And he posted and was like, so you couldn't put no clothes on? Was like, so you could put no clothes on. And I thought that was like so funny, and that just like it's a lot of stories that just play back just with him. But how do you handle grinding and grief?
It's tough, man. People always tell you like you should do this, but until you really go through it, like you really don't know. So it was probably last year, like 2000, when he passed away. That year, last year January. It's probably one of the hardest years of my life. Like when I look at it, the grand scheme of things, because it's my dad was a staple in our family. My biggest supporter, the one that really encouraged me to, be a professional barber. The one that told me and encouraged me to go to my first competition when I was having doubt. Like he was always there. One thing I appreciate about him that, whenever I call him, he's always available. If I need him to be here, he gonna show up. And just hearing that voice, every morning when I'm going to the gym, we talk for 15 minutes. It was tough, not knowing that like I'm depressed right now,
right?
But for me, I'm still grieving, obviously, but I'm at a different stage now.
Yeah,
where I had to literally get back to doing what I enjoy doing most, which is creating.
Yeah.
Now, me being able to create really inspired me and motivated me to get back to my regiment, working out, making a to-do list, instead of just sitting in silence all the time, just like wondering, man, why my dad leave?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, so it's a little different because now I'm older. I got 3 girls that depend on me. So it's so important that I take care of me.
Yeah.
And we'll never get our parents back, right? We'll never get them back. So the only thing we have is memories. So the only thing I could just, every day, just think about, okay, what would my dad do at this time?
Yeah.
Because I even see it on a macro level where, family gatherings not the same or not even doing it anymore just because my dad's not present. And now I look at like, man, maybe it's time for me, my brother, to kind of step up as the next, stepping stone for the family to keep us together. But every day, it's a battle every day. I wake up in the morning, I pray. I ask God give me strength. Give me bring positivity. Make sure my kids stay strong and safe. So it's one of the things where it's never gonna go away.
Right.
Maybe the pain goes away a little bit, but the pain wouldn't. But it's still never gonna go away. It's always gonna be there. So that's how I kind of deal with it now, man. I just try to do things that I enjoy doing, and I realize my mission now because of my dad passed away. Though that's the beautiful thing. My mission is to impact people. to continue to impact people through what I do best, you know. So forever inspired by him, man. I mean, of course, you know, shout out to my dad. 'Cause I love him to death, and there's not a day go by I don't think about him. But then I understand too, like, man, it's part of life. You know, one day my kid's gonna see me passing away, and so what's gonna happen then? You know, so it's like it's a teachable moment for everything. So that's what I do currently.
Yeah. That's dope, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Even watching you handle, you know, like with your dad. Yeah. It inspires me because I don't do too well with this grief thing. I don't do too well.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but that really inspires me.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what's next? What are you looking forward to in 2024? What's next? What's next for you? I know also you have which something that's super dope was you going back to the is it the penitentiary? The penitentiary.
Yeah.
I said titchery. I said the wrong. Going back to the the penitentiary and teaching those guys how to cut hair. Like, would you say like 2024 is that something that you really going to be focusing on? What's next?
I'm definitely going to focus on it. But I want to do other things too. That's just one thing I'm gonna do. But I'm also going to be podcasting. So that's the beautiful thing. Then I just want to keep on impacting people, especially next generation of, you know, barbers, of, you know, educating the prisons. But yeah, that's one. Yeah, I just want to keep I want to stay busy. I want to keep on impacting. That's my main goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's always nice talking to you, bro. We can literally do this all day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All day.
Even though I know, you know, your story, but it's still, every time you tell, it's always something that another gem that gets dropped. So I always enjoy talking to you, bro.
Always. Hey.
Yeah.
This is fun. I'm excited.
It is. So until next time, guys.
Until next time.